Let's turn to the first new question. Describe an interesting old person you know.
There's this old lady that I know named Mrs. Johnson. She's like a grandma to me, even though she's not related to me. I met her when I was a kid because my parents used to take me to her church. She's always been so kind and welcoming to me, and we've stayed in touch ever since. Mrs. Johnson is in her 90s, but she's still as sharp as a tack. She's got this great sense of humor and she's always cracking jokes. It's so refreshing. She's also super religious, and I really admire her faith. She's always been an inspiration to me in that way. Whenever I'm back in town, I try to visit her. We usually just chat. She'll tell me stories about her life. It's always so interesting. She's lived through so much history, and she's got some great stories to tell. Sometimes, I'll take her to the park, and we'll go for a walk and feed the ducks. It's always a good time when I'm hanging out with her. But what I think makes her truly interesting is her perspective on life. She's lived through so much and seen so many things change, but she's still so positive and optimistic. She's always telling me to look for the good in people and that things will work out in the end. And I really think that's a valuable lesson, especially in today's world. Overall, I think Mrs. Johnson is an amazing person, and I feel so lucky to know her. She's always been a mentor to me, and I always look forward to hanging out with her. She's just one of those people that you can't help but be inspired by. Here is the above list of words used in the answer and their explanations. Faith. Complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Inspiration. A person or thing that gives someone an idea for a new creation. Optimistic. Hopeful and confident about the future or the success of something. Perspective. A particular attitude toward or way of regarding something. A point of view. Religious. Having a strong belief in a god or gods. Sense of humor. The ability to find things funny. Sharp. Having or showing a quick mind and good judgment. Sharp as a tack. Mentally acute and alert.
Describe a character from a film.
There's this character from a movie that I really enjoy. Robert Downey Jr. plays Tony Stark, commonly known as Iron Man. I've seen the film multiple times, but I believe the first time I saw it was around 2008, when it was first released. Tony Stark is like this brilliant billionaire playboy philanthropist. He has a lot of money and power, but he also has a big ego and is a bit of a jerk at the start of the movie. But as the novel progresses, he realizes that all of his wealth and power are meaningless unless he uses them to assist others. He becomes this hero and begins to use his resources to develop the Iron Man armor in order to battle crime. Robert Downey Jr. does an excellent job portraying this character. He has all of Stark's charisma and charm, but he also does an excellent job of depicting Stark's metamorphosis from selfish to selfless hero. It's fascinating to watch the character develop during the film. Tony Stark is one of my favorite characters since he is so complicated. He has all of these weaknesses, but he also has this determination to do good and make a difference. He's not a one-dimensional hero. He has depth, which makes him feel more human. Also, it's a Marvel movie, so the humor and action are perfectly balanced, and it's simply a wonderful movie to watch in general. That, I believe, is one of the reasons why the Iron Man films were so successful and the character has become such an iconic component of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Overall, I believe Tony Stark is a fascinating and well-developed character. Robert Downey Jr. did an excellent job portraying him, and it's always a pleasure to see him on screen. He is without a doubt one of my favorite movie characters. Vocabulary list with explanations. Billionaire. A person with a net worth of at least $1 billion. Brilliant. Extremely clever or talented. Character. A person in a story, play, or movie. Determination. The quality of being determined to do or achieve something. Depth. The quality of being deep or having many layers. Enjoy. To take pleasure in something. Ego. A person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. Iconic. Widely recognized and well-established. Jerk. A person who is unkind or unpleasant. Marvel. A company that creates comic books and movies. Metamorphosis. A complete change of form or nature. One-dimensional. Having only one aspect or feature. Philanthropist. A person who seeks to promote the welfare of others, especially by the generous donation of money to good causes. Playboy. A man who is fond of the company of women and spends a lot of money on them. Portray. To depict or represent someone or something in a certain way.
Describe a person you met at a party who you enjoyed talking with.
So, there's this person I met at a party a while ago, at a friend's birthday celebration. I didn't know many people there, but I was there with other buddies, and we were simply socializing. And it was then that I met this man, Jake. So Jake and I began talking, and it was one of those talks where you just click with someone. We had many interests in common, such as hiking and traveling, and we had a lot to talk about. We chatted about everything, including other climbs and places we'd been. Jake is just a nice guy that is easy to chat to and has a fantastic sense of humor. We were both having a great time, and it was a really fun talk. One of the things that made it so fun was Jake's genuine interest in what I had to say, as well as his ease of conversation and open-mindedness, which made it easier for me to share my thoughts and opinions. We ended up talking for about an hour, and it was one of those discussions in which you lose track of time. The celebration was over before I knew it, and I had to leave. But Jake and I swapped numbers and have met a couple times since. It's always a pleasure to see him, and we always have a fantastic time together. Overall, I had a great time talking with Jake during that gathering. He's a really intriguing person, and it was fantastic to have that connection with someone. It's a great feeling when you meet someone new and feel like you have a lot in common with them. He was just one of those folks with whom you could have a good time, and I'm pleased I met him. Vocabulary list with explanations. Buddy. A friend. Chat. To have a conversation. Click. To have a good relationship with someone. Connection. A relationship or link between two people or things. Gathering. A social event or meeting. Genuine. Real and honest. Interest. A hobby or activity that someone is interested in. Intriguing. Interesting and mysterious. Open-minded. Willing to consider new ideas or opinions. Sense of humor. The ability to find things funny. Socializing. Interacting with people in a friendly way. Swap. To exchange something with someone else.
Now these model answers are incredibly valuable because they can help to give you ideas that you can use when you talk about people. They can give you some sort of structure or ideas about ways that you can structure answers to do with describing people. And then also I'm going to be giving you some language that you can use in your answers to spice up your answers a little bit and impress the examiner. Right, so let's move on now to some of the different aspects that you can talk about when you take your test. Let's now look at some of the possible aspects that you might talk about when describing a person. So, first of all, we can talk about their appearance. What do they look like? 2, their personality. What sort of personality do they have? 3, their relationship to you. 4, their lifestyle. Now, a good way to prepare for this and a good way to build up some vocabulary in order to describe people is to think about positive and negatives. So if we look at personality, some of the positive features of a person could include warm, which means kind of friendly, fun-loving, intelligent, charming, kind-hearted, extrovert. An extrovert is somebody who is outgoing. Emma is quite an extrovert. She is always the life of the party because of her warm-hearted and fun-loving nature. And then we could have some negative features to describe a person. These could include mean, selfish, cruel, arrogant, introverted, a pain in the neck. A pain in the neck is somebody who's annoying. It's an idiomatic expression, so this is a good way to boost your vocabulary. Stephen is rather introverted. He usually sits quietly in the corner at parties. He is also a pain in the neck because he always bothers me when he needs help with his computer. We can also describe a person's appearance. We can talk about their height. Are they kind of short and small? We can say they're petite. If they're tall, we can describe them as being lofty. We can describe what sort of build they have. If they're thin, they're slender, fat, overweight, muscular, well built. We can talk about their age. If they're a young child, they're a toddler, a young adult, adolescent, or maybe they're a senior citizen, somebody aged 60 and over. We can talk about facial features. Clean shaven means there's no beard or moustache. Or we can describe their beard, even the type of beard, like a goatee beard or a moustache. We can describe their hair. Maybe they have long, thick hair, or perhaps a ponytail, or maybe they're like me, bald, no hair at all. You could also mention what sort of relationship this person has with you. Are they a friend? Then they're a pal. A pal is a friend. A soulmate, somebody who you're very close to and share your innermost secrets with. Maybe they're a classmate or a colleague or perhaps a mentor, somebody who guides you. You could also talk about things to do with their lifestyle. What sort of hobbies do they have? Maybe they enjoy snorkeling. And what sort of job do they do? Perhaps they're a lab technician. So all of these aspects can help you to describe a person, to have high-level vocabulary, and to be able to talk for 2 minutes in your part 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of a series of 5 themes for your IELTS test part 2. The 5 themes are people, places, things, activities, experiences. If you prepare for these 5 themes, you're going to be well prepared to take your test. You're going to be able to deal with any of the topics that you get in your test. If you're interested in part 1 questions, I have some separate videos for those, and you might like to check out some of those. If you are preparing for a test, you might also be interested in my speaking course. I've got details of my IELTS Speaking Success course in the details below this video. Best of luck preparing for your test in